Look at the stars, look at the stars. When I look at the stars, I see someone else. When I look at the stars, I feel like myself.
You have 4 minutes from now to present your opening statement.
Alright. In the world there are many questions, statements, and disputes. Do animals have souls? This is one of many questions that are talked about and disputed about. Many, or may I say most, Christian churches believe that animals do not have souls. There are many people who have many reasons in saying that only humans have souls. Some passages from the Bible, such as Genesis 1:27, state that God created man in his own image. Most every true Christian knows that we are created in God's own image. We are created in the image of God. Does this mean that because we are created in the image of God that animals don't have souls? In my opinion, no. I know that humans are definitely more important than animals because we are made in the image of God and that God considers us to be better than them. But even so it is that animals don't have souls. There are many statements by many people saying such. I don't think animals have souls because the soul is our emotions, feelings, and mind. Because of our soul we can reflect and introspect. The soul is unique to humankind and was given to us because we are uniquely created in the image of God. Since the soul contains our mind and therefore our ability to reason, I think that Scripture supports that only humans have souls. This is an educated statement, but the fact of the matter is, do animals have emotions? Can we tell a little bit whether an animal is happy, sad, or angry? I think we can tell whether our dogs shake their tails, they are happy, and when they bring their tails down in between their legs, they are sad. Animals have emotions, and their emotions affect their actions. Right. One widespread rationalization in Christian circles, often used to justify humanity's mistreatment of animals, is the inaccurate belief that humans alone possess immortal souls, that only humans therefore are worthy of moral consideration. Now, I'm not saying that Christians hate animals because of this statement, although many people do make mistakes in mistreating their animals. When you think of animals and you look at them and think they are just here for the time on earth and their existence is gone for eternity, what exactly will you think of life? What does existence exist? Why does existence exist? Many know we exist for a reason from which God created us. I consider life to be truly amazing. Life in its complexity is awesome. Say, I can have a perfect body with absolutely no flaws and everything is perfect. There is a heart, a brain, etc. But does that mean that this body is alive? No, something needs a soul and spirit to even move. For example, say that science has been able to do some unbelievable things. An animal has been killed or say simply sliced in half. But the doctors restore everything 100%. Is this animal alive? Answer simply put is no, because what life was in the animal has been taken away and separated from the body, and is therefore no longer a living animal. So the second an animal dies, is it that animal whose whole existence is no longer existent? I would believe there to be more to it than that. Life cannot be created by man except from which we can clone, which is against God. Even so, with cloning, you need life to make life. Life can only be created by God. Alright, so how much time do I have left?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring up some verses from Revelation. Revelation 21:1. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no more sea. Now you may be saying, what does this have to do with animals having souls? Well, Scripture says a new heaven and a new earth. This itself can be disputed upon, but if there is a new earth, couldn't that possibly mean that on this earth, new earth, there may actually be animals?
half a minute.
And if the earth was restored to where it was perfect again, to where it is actually like heaven, and there are animals on this earth, may there or might there not be any animals? Now, I've heard arguments such as that there could be animals in heaven, but with no soul. I find this a little confusing, but I believe most life to have a sole purpose.
Time. You now will have 2 minutes to rebut the opening statement.
You talk about animals having a purpose in life, and how if they didn't have a soul, why would they not have a purpose? I'm not denying that animals don't have a purpose. In fact, God in the Bible designates animals as having specific purposes. What I am against is you saying that animals have a life purpose, and thus having a life purpose, they have a soul in heaven. I disagree with that statement because I don't think that animals can get to heaven by having a soul. It doesn't make sense to me because as humans, we have to accept Jesus' grace and forgiveness from what he did on the cross in order to have a place in heaven. And animals are not able to do that. Yes, they have emotions. They can feel love. They can feel loyalty. But they're not rational creatures. And that's why I don't think animals have a place, animals have a soul in heaven. Also, you talked about animal testing for science, and if an animal is killed, then scientists cannot bring back the life of that animal because it has been killed and the soul has been released. Well, the soul of the animal is it's not the spiritual essence of that animal, it's life force. So yes, when you kill anything, you're taking away its life force.
30 seconds.
And as you stated, God can't give that back. But that doesn't mean that they're taking away a soul or they're taking away the animal's place in heaven.
Okay, we'll now have 4 minutes to present your opening statement.
Okay. I think that to have a debate about whether or not animals have souls, we need to define the word soul, because if you look it up in a Webster's dictionary, it has 5 different definitions. And that's omitting the ones that talk about a black person's, their culture. One of the definitions for soul is the immaterial essence or cause of an individual life. Another definition is the spiritual principle embodied in human beings. Do animals have a soul in that they have life? Yes. Everything alive has a soul. They have a immaterial essence or cause of individual life. Do they have a spiritual principle that has rational and spiritual thinking? No. In fact, if you look in logic and you look at the Porphyrian tree, animal is not defined as a rational creature. And that's its distinction from man, is that it doesn't have that 5th note of a rational creature. Another definition of soul is the disembodied spirit of a dead human. I think it's pretty significant that they specifically say humans instead of creatures. Another definition is the central part or the vital core.